Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. My name is Jesse Milestone, and we are here today to talk about the Jews. That's me. I'm one of them. I'm a Jewish person, in case you didn't know. Surprise! And why are we talking about the Jews today? Well, if you've been following any of the news, you've seen Nick Cannon is under fire for some recent anti-Semitic comments he made on a show. Also, his guest making many more anti-Semitic comments, him agreeing with them, etc., etc., etc. As a result, everyone's mad at Nick Cannon, and he lost his show on his little sketch show on CBS. But he has not lost his position as a judge on Fox's The Masked Singer. Fox, of course, owned by Disney. Disney, who super cares about bigotry and protecting all minority groups, unless they're the Jews. So, I'm not here to break down what Nick Cannon said or give some lesson as to why it's bad or even call for him being canceled, which, by the way, he's not being canceled. So people are like, oh, cancel Nick Cannon, this and that. It's not happening. He's not getting canceled. People who are canceled are, cast out of the public eye and, they lose all their position, their stature, etc., etc. We've seen this happen to countless people, justly or unjustly. Nick Cannon has only lost one of those positions. He is for sure not being canceled right now. And that is not okay in a weird way. Okay, as someone who doesn't support cancel culture, for me to say it's not okay that he's not getting canceled is not me advocating for him being canceled. It's me advocating for equal treatment for all peoples. That's what this is about. And that's what I want to talk about today. That's really what I want to discuss, what I'm here to discuss, because I'm really, really perturbed by the way Jews are treated by the left and the right now. It's kind of messed up. And I'm not advocating, for us to be a more protected minority group. I'm not advocating for us to, get any special privileges or any of these things. I'm advocating for everyone else to get over their bullshit the same way they expect us to every time things like this happen. What other protected minority is expected to defend themselves when they say something's anti-Semitic and you have to actually sit down and defend exactly why it is? No, believe women. If a woman says something, it must be true. If somebody says something is racist, you should just believe that it's racist. But if a Jewish person says it's anti-Semitic, well, you should probably question whether it is anti-Semitic and whether it's coming from a place of genuine care for the Jewish people or an agenda or this or that. They're right. Wow. Oh my fucking God. That the amount of agenda pushing rhetoric regarding race and gender and all that stuff is so rampant, and you're gonna fucking sit here and talking about one of the smallest minorities. There are fewer Jews left in the entire world than there are gay people in just this country. And you want to sit here and say, oh, they must have an agenda. Right there already, you're being anti-Semitic. Right there, you're buying into an anti-Semitic trope, right? Believe it or not, yeah, right there. Because what's that classic thing? Oh, right, we're just trying to take over the world. We're just trying to control the narrative. We're just trying to buy out politicians to get our way and get the things we want. These are the same theories pushed by people like Adolf Hitler, used as an excuse to exterminate the Jews so we wouldn't take over everything. This is straight up right there already. The different treatment, the less preferential treatment we get as a minority group is already steeped in anti-Semitism. And the list goes on. I'm not going to sit here and detail all of these things right here, right now. What I am going to say, though, is that, one, I don't understand where all this animosity is coming from the black community now about, we're the real chosen people, screw you Jews. Okay, I understand, yeah, Louis Farrakhan, that was all his rhetoric and all that stuff, and that's all well and good, but I just don't understand why these are two groups of people that really should be binded together over our shared, our shared history of crap that's happened to us. Because that's the thing, right? When you go into the whole I believe women when they say this, believe a black person if they say it's racist, or question a Jew when they say it. Oh, but why should we believe a black person when they say this seemingly innocuous phrase is racist? Oh, because you don't understand the history of oppression, because you don't understand the history of slavery in this country and all these bad things that have happened to them. Great! You don't understand the history of the Jewish people, because people are like, oh, the Holocaust had happened, it was bad, whatever. Yeah, it didn't start and stop with the Holocaust. By the effing way. We have a multi-thousand-year history of different groups, whatever country we happen to inhabit, trying to kill us. It's a running joke in the Jewish community that everyone is always trying to kill us, because they are. Because it's not really that much of a joke. This has happened over and over again, countless times. And beyond just, attempts at extermination and genocide, you have historically, going back hundreds of years, Jews not being allowed to be citizens of the country, whatever country they inhabited, because they were looked at as having a higher loyalty to their Jewishness. And this attitude is still pervasive today in the way people look at Jewish people. In remarks that one of our congresswomen made last year about the Jewish people, still trying to, the Jews have if you're pro-Israel, you have a higher loyalty to Israel than you do to the U.S., That's just blatant anti-Semitism right there. It doesn't get a lot more blatant than that. And then you have Ariana fucking Ocasio-Cortez, whatever her stupid ass name is, running to her, flying to her defense. It wasn't anti-Semitic. It wasn't anti-Semitic. She can't be anti-Semitic. She can't be prejudiced because she's so oppressed, and that makes her the most virtuous because she was a refugee and blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sorry. Your history, the shit that happens to you, and your identity don't make you virtuous or not virtuous. How you act and how you treat people determines whether you are or are not virtuous. But I'm also, one of the things I'm so sick of hearing, this is one of the things that we always get from the black community when we try to reach out and say, hey, we understand, we have a history of oppression as well, this shit's happened to us. What do we get from the black community? We get, oh, you're not really oppressed because you don't, like, people can't tell from the second you walk in the room that you're Jewish, you get to hide it. This is once again, an anti-Semitic statement so beautifully steeped in ignorance, in not understanding anything about our culture. First of all, even on the nose, even without a history attached to it, it is not necessarily always a privilege to get to hide your identity. You are being forced into a choice, and you can talk about this. You can ask gay people who can pass as straight. It's the same thing, right? It's not a good choice. It's not like, yay, hooray for me, I can pretend to be like everyone else and just slide under the radar. That is a serious choice that compromises your integrity, possibly for the benefit of your own safety. How would you like to make that choice? You have to hide a part of who you are, because if you reveal it, you might be the victim of hatred or even violence. That's the choice you're saying. You're saying it's such a privilege that we have. We have such a privilege that we can choose to stuff our own identity, stuff the things that make us who we are in order to avoid prejudice and violence in the world. Yeah, what a freaking privilege. But beyond that, it goes way further than that. This idea of this invisible minority, oh, you're so lucky. Again, the history of my people. One of the best times we had it historically before the modern era was ancient Rome. Because in ancient Rome, as long as you just shut the fuck up and didn't let anyone know you were Jewish, you could practice in your home nicely, quietly, happily. You could spin your dreidels at Hanukkah. You could have your Passover Seder, as long as you didn't talk about it. As long as you didn't go around telling your neighbors. The second you opened your damn mouth about that, you got fed to the lions. But that was when we had it good. We had it good when we were forced to hide who we were. We were forced to stuff that most of the times in history, Jews have had to hide who they were in order to not get killed. This is the story, the biblical story of how the game of dreidel came to be. It was the Assyrians trying to kill all of the Jews. So how could they accept? What was their excuse for a bunch of Jewish men coming together, to practice minyan, to have minyan and read from the Torah? It was, oh, well, we're playing dreidel, we're just gambling, it's fine. That was their cover, right? So many elements of our history are part of our tradition because they were part of the times we had to hide our identities just to survive. If that's a privilege, fuck me. That is the furthest thing from it. That is a burden. At any time you tell a Jewish person, oh, you can just pretend not to be Jewish. Yeah, what a gift it must have been, to be someone who maybe looked more like me in Nazi Germany if you weren't very out about your religion and people didn't really know, to watch your neighbors get carted off and killed, to live in fear, to have to denounce your own religion, your own identity, and walk around acting as if you hated it just to survive. What a privilege. What a privilege that must have been. And every time some moron tries to tell us something like, oh, you're not really a minority because no one can see it when you walk in the room. Every time you say that, you just rip the Band-Aid off of these old wounds and pour a little lemon juice in it. Feels great, let me tell you. It feels so great. And that, more than the blatant anti-Semitism, by the way, you can say anything you want. There's no real anti-Semitism, because bull effing shit, I got the screenshots to prove it. Anytime I post on Twitter about being Jewish or make a video about being Jewish, yeah, they're there. The anti-Semitism is there. It is blatant. No one is even making an effort to hide it. No one's even trying to veil it or make excuses for it. People are still out there just saying, yeah, fuck the Jews. Straight up to your face, to my face. It happens to me all the effing time. And you know what? That doesn't bother me nearly as much as it bothers me to have somebody question when I say, this is anti-Semitic, or, yeah, Jews have been oppressed. Yeah, Jews aren't always treated right these days. That is, to me, 10 times worse in a world where everyone has to fucking tiptoe around each other. Has to go, oh, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to offend you. But who cares if you offend a Jewish person, because we're just a picture of privilege. And this is another reason why I'm so fed up with social justice warriors. My perspective on social justice warriors is different from a lot of other people's, because it's rooted in this. It's not just rooted in the idiocy and the hypocrisy that everyone else can see right on the nose. It's that depth of hypocrisy, that incongruous treatment of people who they quote, want to protect, because minorities need to be protected and treated equally. But it is totally fine to crap all over us. It is totally fine to do and say whatever you want to my people, because for some reason we don't meet your criteria of oppression. Look throughout history. Find me a people who have been as persecuted and prosecuted, by the way, as the Jews have been throughout history. Find me a group of people who've had a worse end of the stick for as long a period of time. Because yeah, slavery sucks. It's brutal, right? But before all the missionaries went to Africa and all the white men came and took them away to be slaves, white men weren't owning people in Africa. White men weren't controlling Africans. If they were doing shit to each other, that's between them, but that ain't racism. You can go back thousands of years and you will still find people trying to kill the Jews. It is everywhere. It has always been a part of our history. And I'm so fucking sick of having to defend that to people, of having to try to explain to people who want to run around crusading for social justice that, no, you can't just say this shit. No, you can't just do this shit. Because, yeah, that is offensive. You're so concerned about being offensive, being this, being that. But guess what? We don't see us running around trying to cancel people over this, because that's the last couple big instances of anti-Semitism. Deshaun Jackson, the Philadelphia Eagles, were posting very similar things about a week before Nick Cannon ran his mouth off. What do the prominent members of the Jewish community do? They reach out to these people and they offer to sit down with them and have a talk. Let me educate you. Let me teach you more about the history of the Jewish people. Let me have you understand why we have these beliefs and feel this way. Because we believe in reaching out with compassion and understanding rather than just being a dick and alienating people. That doesn't serve us. That doesn't help us. If you reach out to someone with compassion, now I don't know about Nick Cannon, his apology stack is very disingenuous to me, but someone like Deshaun Jackson, who responded immediately, eagerly, with a very sincere sounding apology and a willingness to go and learn more. Wow, that's a step in the right direction. Rather than screaming and yelling and freaking out at somebody, oh, you're so anti-Semitic, fuck you and die. No, let me educate you. Let me talk to you. And yeah, I might scream and yell here, but I'm trying to tell you guys things about me and my people and me and my experiences. I'm not trying to tell you to F off and die because you don't understand or because you might have said something wrong or this or that or the other. I'm asking for understanding. All I'm asking is for the same treatment that everyone else gets. That's what we're supposed to be about today, right? That's all I'm asking for. I'm asking for people to treat Jewish people with the same common decency you would treat any other group of people. And we don't get that from the left or the right. And that is effed up. And I don't talk about this all the time. Why? One of the reasons is because you get an anti-Semitic backlash for talking about this shit. Because they have to fight YouTube because they demonetize any video that has the word Jew in it. And it is frustrating, and it is annoying, and it is stupid that I have to fight this hard to be heard about something that for everyone else they take so for granted. Social justice is my everyday. Social justice is my life and my this and my every breath. Why do I have to fight so hard? I'm not even looking for social justice. Why do I have to fight this hard just to be treated like everyone else? Think about that. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. So thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, make sure you press the like button. Make sure you share it with people. Make sure you're subscribed with your notifications bell hit. And if you want more content, you can always check me out on Patreon. There are more rants over there all the time. Fun behind the scenes looks at my new projects. I've also got stuff on Subscribestar if you don't like Patreon. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Jesse Milestone, Instagram at Mindless Entertainment. You guys are the best. Oh, God Empress out.